Hi, I'm Tom Hollingsworth from Gestalt IT, and I'm here talking tech with my friend Keith.
Hi, I'm Keith Parsons with Wireless LAN Professionals.
So, you probably think to yourself, I'm going to ask him what's new in tech, what's exciting. But this is actually a Tech Talk, because Keith, what do you want to talk about?
I want to talk how to give a technical talk. We're here talking about tech, and we're talking, and so one of the things I do is put on the Wireless LAN Professionals Conference, and we get hundreds of submissions for what people want to see, and I thought it might be good to help people know what makes a good technical talk. So I thought that would be a good tech talk.
Well, I mean, it's given a presentation. How hard can it be?
Well, it's not hard to give a presentation. What's hard is giving a good presentation.
Oh, it has to be good. Okay, I get
And
it.
it has to have, people have to want to listen to it. So what I wanted to talk about was what makes a good technical presentation from our standpoint, having sat through literally hundreds of discussions, talks, presentations. So first of all, the thing I think works really well, and people ask, what makes a good presentation? First, you have to have passion for the topic. If you don't have passion for the topic, it doesn't really matter what it is, you're going to come across boring. You can have passion just about anything, which is great. If your passion also aligns with the thing you want to talk about, even better. So if it's a technical talk, you need to have passion. And then the next question people say, well, what should I talk on? And the easiest one is find a problem that you have, either personally or in your work, and you wanted to solve a problem, and you go, I don't know the answer to that question. So then you go out and you set up an experiment. Yep, the whole experiment thing we learned in 7th grade science, it still holds true. I have a hypothesis. I think this is what causes it. Then you do an experiment and you gather data. What makes a fantastic technical talk is that you can share the results of your data collection with others who also have the same passion. So it's find a problem, figure out a way to come up with the data that answers that problem, and then you just deliver that. Now, the first thing I'll say is deliver the conclusion first. Yeah, I know, ever since, 4th grade, when Mrs. Isley said you have to do support, conclusion. She was wrong. It doesn't work that way anymore. Lead with the conclusion, and then you can back up and say, yeah, I did this experiment, and this is my results, and shock people and get their attention. And then you can say, and here's how I got it. Set up the experiment, show the data. There's nothing wrong with the conclusion leading, and then you support the conclusion. And of course, then you repeat the conclusion at the end to say, this is what I thought, this is what I found out. You might find that your initial hypothesis, totally wrong. The data didn't match, but that's the beauty of it, making it a good talk, is that someone else probably had the exact same problem you did. They also thought that was the best answer, and you've now just given them an answer, and you've done it with passion. So, yeah, I think that's a good way to give a good tech talk.
Well, does a tech talk need to have like demos and videos and tables of numbers and things like that? Because that says technical to me. It's like, look at this chart. This chart it's a Sankey chart that has all of these things in it. Does it necessarily need to have that?
It can have fancy graphics. I think what it really needs to have is a graphic that supports what you're saying. First rule, and don't break this rule. You never read from the slides. So if there's a word on the slide, everyone can read it faster than you can. So you're the actually slowest person in the room when you're reading from your own slides. Don't do that. But your graphics can support whatever your premise is. So if you said, this is the problem, and this is how I solved it, and you can show the results. We had a great talk just a little while ago, and Mincy Kim from Cisco put it up, and it was on the screen, it just said 1.45%. That was the only thing on the screen. And he said, does anyone know what this means? No one did. And then he explained that it was the level of penetration out of all Meraki installs that had 802.11r turned on. Well, he had just previously talked about how 802.11r can speed up 20, 30, 40% faster roam times for everyone, and then shocked us all by saying, yeah, and 98.6% of the people don't have it turned on. So it was a good dichotomy between here's the solution, and no one's using it. So that graphic was not fancy. It didn't have a lot of tables. It just had the answer that made you go, oh, yeah. So sometimes tables help. Sometimes curves. Yeah, my MBA was on statistical analysis, so I love bell curves. So if you can show me a bell curve, there's so much information held in there that if you understand the curve, then you can just find stuff on there and it makes sense. Not everyone understands or likes bell curves, but find something that your audience would look at and go, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Almost kind of sounds like a magician. I'm going to show you the trick, and then I explain how I do it. Because if I explain how I do it first and then show you the trick, it's not quite as exciting.
That's a good answer, yeah. Jump to the answer, get their attention, and then give it support. If you don't, sometimes you only have 10 minutes to talk or 15 minutes, you don't have a big long period. So get the important stuff out first. And that's why I say turn it backwards. Don't build up to a conclusion, start with a conclusion. And maybe you don't have time for the support, but support's something you can put in a PDF document people can download.
How long should your technical talk be?
No longer than it needs to be. So I've found most 30-minute talks can be delivered in 10. Yes, you can. You just have to take out all the fluff, all the lead-in stuff like, and we've seen this here with a lot of Gestalt stuff, when people start going, well, the problem is, and they start with the problem set, and then they go, and that is why you have trouble with BYOD. Let me explain what BYOD is. And they go into some definition where everyone in the audience knows what BYOD is. And they're the ones living through the pain. I don't have to repeat that. I can just assume my audience is pretty smart. And if they're not as smart, they can go study. So you don't have to be using a technical presentation to be teaching. There are good times to do teaching, but this usually isn't one of them.
Sounds like you need to grab your audience and kind of pull them up to a level that they need to be at.
Mm-hmm. And they'll appreciate it, actually. And if not, right after, people will come up to you and talk and say, I didn't understand, and then you can have those follow-on conversations. What you don't want is to have a technical talk and afterwards everyone goes, and no one wants to talk to you afterwards. That's kind of a hint, just saying.
Well, Keith, if people want to see great technical presentations, you're involved with something that there's a lot of those that go on. Where can they go to see some of these great things?
So we started 10 years ago with Wireless LAN Professionals Conference, and part of that was we use the same prime image media that Gestalt IT uses because they're so good, and we record every session. And then we decided, why would we sell those? We give them for free. So we used to host them on Vimeo and other places, but today you can find all of them on our YouTube channel for Wireless LAN Professionals, or you can find it at WLPC, and they're all available. And so if you want to look at them, some you might just want to sort them by who's seen a lot of them, because it kind of bubbles to the top, the ones that people really like. And then if you want to learn, pick the top 10 off of our website and see how they do their presentations, and there's a lot of learning if you can repeat those same kind of things.
Well, Keith, thanks for taking some time to talk tech, specifically about talking tech with us. We have a lot of great technical presentations on our website at gestaltit.com and techfieldday.com, and we have a lot of great tech talks on our Gestalt IT YouTube channel, which is Gestalt IT Video. Make sure you're checking those out. You never know when you're going to find something really interesting from a really great technical presenter. Until next time, take care of yourself, and we will see you soon.